My name is Alexis Ostrander, and I will be talking about social media in a business. On today's agenda, we have what is social media, the timeline of it, some facts about social media, the impact social media has in a business, the business strategies in social media and how they interact, the challenges that businesses can face with social media, and then questions and references. To start off, how do you define social media? The Merriam-Webster dictionary definition is forms of electronic communication through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content. As a reference, I think most of us know, but some of the biggest players in social media are as seen, and these are by their monthly active users. So you can see some of the top ones are Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram, WeChat, TikTok, Telegram, Snapchat, and the last two are Chinese apps as well. In this diagram, you can see kind of the rise of social media and how much it took over and how fast it grew as well. This one shows from 2004 to 2018, and even from there, it's grown even more. This is a timeline of our most used social media platforms and when they started, and kind of when the biggest one, Facebook, took over. So the first one in 1996, this is when the first social networking and video website was created, and this was called Bolt. In 1997, that's when the one that we all kind of know and loved back in the day was the AOL, and they launched their instant messenger, and this came along with Friendster and 6 Degrees, which are no longer around. In 2003, that is when LinkedIn and MySpace were created, and then in 2004, Facebook was created. 2006 was Twitter, and then in 2008 was when there was a shift when Facebook officially took over as the most visited website, kind of putting MySpace in the background. In 2010, you had Instagram, and then in 2011, we had Snapchat. Some facts about social media. There are 4.95 billion users worldwide, and that's as of October of 2023, and this is currently 61.4% of the world's population and a 7% increase from 2022. To put that in perspective of how much social media is growing, the numbers have over doubled since 2015 when there were 2.07 billion users worldwide. The average user accesses about 6.7 social media platforms, and the popular platforms have over 68% of their users logging in daily. So that's platforms like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. The primary users of these social media accounts are the Gen Z and millennials, which are aged from 18 to 29, and that consists of 84% of the users. The average time someone spends on social media a day is 2 hours and 24 minutes. And 37.6% of all internet users worldwide use media for work purposes. So how can social media impact a business? Social media can impact a business in so many ways if they spend the time and money to properly use social media platforms. As getting into the social media world for businesses is new and different, it is also a risk for them to not get into this industry, as they would then risk missing out on an opportunity to connect with their target audience. Some of the big impacts it can make for a business are the following. It can increase brand visibility. This is a huge impact because it's important for brands to get their products and services out there for people to see and make them intriguing enough for users to want to purchase them. Not only do businesses need to have their own social media accounts, but they can also promote brand visibility through ads. Ads are a huge part of social media platforms and also how several of them bring in most of their revenue. Marketers can reach up to 2.24 million people by placing a Facebook ad. This also goes along with targeted advertising, which is important for a business involved with social media, as they need to make sure they're reaching their correct audiences. Social media can provide businesses with market research and insights, such as data analytics. This being said, social media generates a vast amount of data about user preferences and trends. This is important as a business can leverage and use this data to gain valuable knowledge on their audiences and competitors. This gives a business insight on their strategic decision making and product development to keep them up with the trends. Brand reputation is another impact on social media. Reputation is everything for a business. Social media and the cancel culture are very prominent right now in this world. A business's social media can play a significant role in shaping their brand and identity. This can give them a positive interaction and feedback, along with bringing in more revenue. Another huge impact right now on businesses within the social media industry are influencers. I think everyone who uses social media can reflect on this, as we've all seen influencers and realized how big they are on social media platforms these days. Influencers have recently made a big splash in the social media industry, and if a business uses their platform and influencers correctly, they could very much produce so much more revenue. Whether that means they pay these influencers to sponsor their products, or if they find ways to promote their brand to these influencers for free. For example, PR packages. I know that a huge example of influencers with businesses is this current weekend, as Coachella has been going on. If you're on social media, you can see all of the different influencers using those brands and those businesses and promoting them all throughout, but in an engaging way at something fun like Coachella. I can only see this being a huge revenue impact for all these brands with all these people seeing all this content. Another important way social media can impact a business is giving them a competitive advantage. As we've talked about, competitive advantages are very important, and it's a big part of the Porter 5 Forces. If a business can effectively leverage their social media and gain competitive advantage by staying ahead of the industry trends and innovating their marketing and business strategies, this can have a huge impact on them. With the rise of the social media industry, businesses have had to rethink and adapt their business strategies when it comes to social media and the different ways they can be involved. Businesses can be involved in social media in several ways. It doesn't necessarily mean they need to have their own Instagram or TikTok account. They can also be involved by advertising their products and services, or they can even be involved by promoting jobs. For example, LinkedIn is also a huge social platform that companies use daily. With the shift to social media, businesses have had to also shift. A big change they have had to make was in their marketing strategies. Prior to social media, businesses would focus primarily on one-way communication techniques and one-way marketing. This included the traditional marketing channels such as TV, radio, and print advertising. Now, with social media being so involved with businesses, they have had to switch and adapt to more engaging and interactive approaches, building relationships with users and making sure that they have a good, strong connection with the communities around them as well. Another big change businesses have had to make in their strategies involve the real-time engagement and customer services. Social media enables real-time communication between customers and businesses. This makes it so that businesses had to really adapt on how to be more proactive with their engagement, making sure that they were not leaving people online saying negative things, making sure they were constantly engaged with that real-time communication. That's very important in the social media world, as you don't want to let one negative comment impact an entire trend or thread about your company in a negative way. Another change in the business strategies they've had to make is with the data and analytics, as this is a huge part of social media and provides businesses with vast amounts of knowledge about their users' preferences and interactions. This can tremendously help a business and can help them shift their business strategies. If something's not working, they can look into these data and analytics and kind of see where they're going wrong, what they need to shift. Businesses must be very engaged with their customers and listen to what the data is telling them in order to stay innovative and relevant in this society. As it may have worked for companies in the past to hide their misdoings and wrongs, kind of hope that they don't come to surface, it's now very important with social media for businesses to be transparent and authentic. You don't want to see it where something comes out about your company and you were not on top of it first. As customers have such a big voice in the world now with social media, it's important for people to trust the credibility of a business and for the business to hold themselves accountable when needed. As we talk about the accountability and trustworthy of a business, it brings us to the challenges that a business can face with social media. One of the first challenges is with the integration. Integrating a new social media within a business can impact nearly every function within that business. Therefore, the integration and implementation of that social media is so important. We talked this week in our discussion board about how the implementation and research and time a business puts into this all prior is very important. Implementing any new type of information system, including social media, can have its challenges all kind of intertwined there. Therefore, as we said in this week's discussion, companies need to do their homework. The next challenge a business can face is governance. Businesses need to make sure that they have their framework, business processes, and strategies down prior to getting involved with social media. This includes making sure they have the proper staff needed to use the social media, along with the staff that has the talent and knowledge to be able to use and implement it wisely. This also includes risk management, as that is also a challenge, as businesses need to make sure they know how to handle the negative feedback and issues that can arise on a platform. Culture is the next challenge, as a culture is very important when it comes to a business and their employees and what they want their culture to be and what they want to portray their culture as. This is the same as businesses can face these challenges on culture by making sure that they're sticking to what their company culture is about, not straying away from what started them in the first place, making sure they don't get ahead of themselves or change what their standards are as a company. Social media can face challenges with anything, and I think the options are endless when it comes to what can happen with a company and a business via social media. That's why a huge challenge is the human resources aspect. Companies need to make sure that they have HR protocols, HR staff, things that are put into place as challenges can very much arrive that HR would need to handle. And the last two challenges, one is reputation, and it is very important for a company to maintain this. It kind of goes along with the culture, as companies face this challenge when putting content out on social media. It takes a good business strategy to make sure that your reputation is being upheld, especially when challenges arrive. Content can be hard to constantly come up with as well. I would say this is one of the biggest challenges that a company and a business can face when handling social media, as it takes research and endless amounts of time online to know what content will sell your product or service, what won't, and this also goes for adapting to the new trends that are constantly changing in this world. Overall, I think social media within a business can be very impactful and very useful, as it takes a lot of changing, adapting, and trial and error. I believe it can be a very useful thing for a company, and I believe that social media does have a huge impact within a business. Some questions for you all to think about. What do you think is the most impactful social media engagement a business can be part of? Have you ever had an experience with a business failing with social media? Why did they not succeed with it? What do you think the biggest challenge a business can face with social media is? And do you like how social media has taken over so much with businesses? Do you feel as if you are more knowledgeable and aware now than you were prior to the roar of social media? And here are my references. Thank you.